Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the cryptic messages buried in corporate filings, often leaving people wondering if they need a PhD to understand them. Today, we're re-diving into Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated, the 18th of September 2025 report. And let me tell you, it is not all about fancy car names, but it is about money, and lots of it. So, what is the big news from Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated? Well, they've been busy selling shares of their common stock. Think of it like a company letting more people in to own a piece of the pie. They sold over 203,000 shares of their common stock, which is a small part of the total company for a pretty hefty sum of about $3.9 million. After this sale, they have a whopping 77 million shares out there in the hands of investors. Now they re-saying this is all perfectly legal and they've got the paperwork to prove it, using special rules for selling securities that don't require a big public song and dance. This means they are actively raising capital by selling more shares, and it is happening on a regular basis. They have something called a new continuous offering, which is just a fancy way of saying they are always open to selling more shares to investors. They also mention a past offering, the initial private offering, which raised a cool $1.2 billion. The new continuous offering has already brought in $700 million. It is clear they are focused on growing their capital base. Now, let's talk about what investors get beyond just owning a piece of the company. Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated announced a dividend. This is like a little bonus payment to shareholders. They're repaying out 17 cents for every share owned. This will be paid out in cash, but get this, shareholders have the option to take that dividend money and immediately reinvest it back into buying even more company stock. It's a way to encourage investors to keep their money with the company. To give you a sense of how the company is valued, their net asset value per share was $19.06. As of the end of August, this is basically the company's total value minus its debts, divided by the number of shares. It is a key number for investors as it represents the underlying worth of each share. The total value of the company, its net asset value, was around $1.5 billion at that time. Looking at the bigger picture of their fundraising efforts, they had two main ways of raising money. The initial private offering, which wrapped up before the 21st of January 2022, brought in a huge amount, $1.2 billion, by selling over 60 million shares. Then there is the new continuous offering, which is ongoing. This offering has already raised $700 million by selling over 37 million shares. In total, across all their offerings, they sold about 97 million shares and raised a massive $2 billion. This shows a very active and successful approach to raising capital from private investors. And of course, the report is signed off by Joshua Lefkowitz, who holds the title of secretary. This is standard procedure to make sure the report is official. Now, let's zoom out and talk about what this all means. Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated is clearly in a growth phase, actively raising money from investors. They're not shy about issuing new stock and making it easy for people to invest. The dividend, while not massive per share, shows a commitment to returning value to shareholders and also incentivizes them to stay invested. The net asset value per share gives us a snapshot of the company's underlying worth, which is important for understanding the value of each share. What are the strengths here? The company is very effective at attracting capital, evidenced by the billions raised. They have a clear strategy of continuous offerings, suggesting stable demand from investors. They are also communicating their financial health through dividends and net asset value reports. However, a key risk for companies that continuously issue shares is dilution. While they are raising funds, it can also mean that each existing share represents a smaller piece of the company. Investors need to keep an eye on whether the growth in company value keeps pace with the increase in the number of shares. Also, the fact that they are selling unregistered shares means that typical public market protections might not be as robust, so investors need to do their homework. In my opinion, Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated is operating effectively in the private investment space, demonstrating a strong ability to raise significant capital. Their strategy of continuous offerings and reinvestment plans suggests a focus on long-term growth and investor retention. While the exact nature of their investments isn't detailed here, the sheer volume of capital raised indicates a substantial operation. Alright, that is our breakdown of Carlyle Credit Solutions Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord community linked in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.